We continue now at the top of Daf Yud Gimel Amid Beis in Meseches Nazir. This is Nazir Daf 13b. On the previous Amid, Ben Rechumi asked Abaya, what if a person says, I am a Nazir if I have a son, and then somebody else hears him and says, and me too, me as well. So in that case, the Gemara's question was, is the person saying, I am going to be a Nazir when I have a son, or is the person saying, I'm also going to be a Nazir when you have a son? And the Gemara now says, if you're going to say, Ksifole Milsa, you're going to say, it would be embarrassing, it would be wrong for the person when he's in front of the other individual to say, I'm also going to become a Nazir when I have a son, meaning to say, this person said, I'm going to become a Nazir when I have a son, that first person. He said, I'm going to be a Nazir when I have a son. Obviously, he's waiting to have a child. So now, right in front of that person, the second person is going to say, and I'm going to become a Nazir if I have a son. That wouldn't make any sense. It would be an embarrassment to say such a thing. Rather, surely the person is saying, I also want you to have a son. I'm going to be a Nazir when you have a son. So if you assume that is the case, but what about the following situation? Amar Hareini Nazir l'chesheyehe leploni ben. What if somebody says, I'm going to be a Nazir when so-and-so has a son? So he's not talking about himself. He's talking about somebody that's not present. V'shama chaveiro v'amar v'ani. Now his friend hears him say that, and he says, I also will become a Nazir. So what is he referring to? Does he mean I'm going to become a Nazir when that third person, that friend, has a son? Or does he mean when I myself have a son? Here there's no embarrassment. That other person is not in front of us. So mahu, so what's the halacha? Mi amrina and shalo befonav anafshe kamar. Do we say he's not in front of that other person anyway, so he's probably talking about himself? He's saying, I also will become a Nazir when I have a son. Odilmar, maybe he means to say as follows: that person is beloved to me, just like he's beloved to you. I love him like you do. I also want him to have a son, and therefore I will also become a Nazir when he has a son. And the Gemara says, Tiboy, we will leave that as a question. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Hareini Nazir, v'Nazir kishayeh libein. A person says, I'm taking upon myself a term of Nazirus, and also another term of Nazirus when I have a son. So in this case, he's taking upon himself two terms of Nazirus, each one assuming is 30 days. So his chilmones shalo. So he begins to count his own term of Nazirus. V'yachar kach nolad lo ben, and then he has a son. So now he really has this second term of Nazirus he has to do. So in this case, mashlam es shalo, he should finish his own term first. V'yachar kach mona es shel beno, and then he can count the term of Nazirus for his son. The reasoning is that he said Hareini Nazir first, then he said v'Nazir k'sheyeh libein. So the first term of the Nazirus is the one for himself. The second one will be for his son. He'll simply finish up his term of Nazirus and begin the one for his son right after that is complete. And the Mishnah continues, Hareini Nazir kishayeh libein v'Nazir. Now what if it's the opposite? He says, I'm going to be a Nazir when I have a son, and I'm going to serve my own term of Nazirus. And then his chilmones shalo, he begins to count his own term of Nazirus. V'yachar kach nolad lo ben, and then he has a son, so now he has to do his son's term of Nazirus, the term of Nazirus for his son rather, and in this case he had said that his son's comes first. So in that case the Mishnah says, meiniach es shalo, he should set his term of Nazirus aside, he should suspend that term of Nazirus, umona es shel beno, he should count the term of Nazirus, the one that he took upon himself for his son, do those 30 days, v'yachar kach mashlam es shelo, and then he can pick up where he left off, and complete the term of Nazirus that was for himself. And the Gemara says, Boy, Rava asks the following question, Amar Hareini Nazir la'achar esrim yom. If a person says that 20 days from now, I'm going to serve a term of Nazirus, that would be a 30-day term of Nazirus, u'me'achshav mea yom, and then from right now, I want to begin a 100-day term of Nazirus. So what's the halacha in that situation? And the Gemara explains, Kevon deholin meya be'esrin lo shalmin. Since that 100-day term, it's not going to be complete in 20 days, and in 20 days he's supposed to start a 30-day term. So lo chaylin, so maybe that 100-day term, it's not chal at all at this point in time, because it's not going to be able to finish. There's no way he can finish that term. He has a term coming up in 20 days. He has a 30-day term, so therefore it's not chal. Odilmor maybe, Kevon de isle gidol sar, since there is enough time for hair to grow livasof at the end, meaning to say, if he does 20 days now and interrupts it with a 30-day term and then picks up where he left off, 80 days left, so 80 days is enough time for hair to grow. We consider 30 days to be enough time for hair to grow, so therefore chaylan, so therefore it would be chal now. We'll just suspend the Nazirus for the 30 days. When 20 days arrives, we'll suspend it for the 30-day term of Nazirus, and then he'll go back and finish the 80 days. And the Gemara says, V'tiboyle Nazirus muetes. Why not ask the same question by a smaller Nazirus? Why are you only asking a question where there's 80 days left? Let's do the same question where there's less than 30 days left. Let's say he suspends the Nazirus. And the Gemara says to that, Chada migo chada kami boyle. It's actually one question within another question here. Both actually would be questions. And the Mefarish explains, Kevan dohalin kuf be'esrin lo shalmin lo chaylin, since the 100 days won't finish in 20 days, it's not chal me'achshav now, umutter lishtos yayin, right now he can drink wine, elamon elamid lachar chaf yom, when 20 days comes, then he'll count a 30-day term, umegaleach, and he'll shave, v'achar kach mona kuf yom, and then he'll do another term for 100 days. Odilmar, maybe, Kevan de'ilu maschil lemimne nezirus kuf me'achshav, akati miyasrulu kadei gidl sar, if he would start the 100 now, and then he interrupts it, let's say in 20 days, he'll still have plenty of time left to grow hair. The Apashalu Tamnin, he still has 80 days left. Disbu Gidol Seir Tuva, plenty of time to grow hair. So therefore he should do like this. First start right now and do 20 days. Then do the 30-day term. And then finish with the other 80 days. To finish the first Naziros. And the Gemara asked V'tiboyle Naziros Muetas. You could have asked the same question. Let's say it wasn't such a long 100-day one. For example, let's say he says that I'm going to be a Nazir after 20 days. Nazir stam, and now I'm going to be a Nazir from now for 30 days. The 30 days is not going to finish in 20 days. He'll still have 10 days left. Maybe it shouldn't be chal. No, maybe it's going to be chal right away. Nevertheless, he'll simply have one shaving, because in this case, the 10 days at the end is not going to be enough for a shaving. But maybe it will be chal right away. And the Gemara says, in hachi kami boile. Yes, that was the question. It's really just one question within another. Kilomar nazirus mitoch nazirus kami boile v'hachi kami boile. He had one question within another question, and the Gemara will explain that on the next Amud. We'll continue with the next video on Daf Yud Dalid Amud Aleph.